Hey, Nation, we are back with D&H, one of my super good friends. Just look over my shoulder at the old SMB Nation D&H days. It was a decade ago, but boy, we had fun. Here today for the fourth quarter check-in with Jennifer Walcott. How you doing, Jennifer?
I'm doing great, thanks. How about yourself?
Good. So quickly, what's where are you located and what's your title at D&H?
Yep, I am located currently right now. I'm sitting in Toronto, Canada. Although I do spend most of my time in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the headquarters, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing for D&H.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, a couple questions. I did a little research on what D&H has been up to, and we do this quarterly and check in. So here's the deal. D&H has made some great investments in the last 3 months in new manufacturers, services, and its team. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with the team. I think it's the most important piece is that we've invested really heavily, and we're going to continue to invest in human capital. We've expanded our co-owner base. In heading into our fiscal, we had added 100 new resources, and that's our fiscal being May 1st. And since then, we've hired an additional 50 new co-owners to our base. I think the most exciting part of that is that over 90% of those are really market-facing positions. So whether it be direct sales, field sales, customer support and operations, we're really doubling down on our ability to service our vendor partners. And then in addition to the co-owner base, we've hired 6 new really incredible channel leaders that have some great experience across all the facets of the business that we're looking to help our partners grow in. So that's kind of the people piece. In terms of vendors, I think, as COVID hit, obviously we had to take account of our offering and our line card, and we really invested a lot of resources, especially around hybrid, security, collaboration, pro AV, things that were really helping to maintain communication and just business continuity. So you'll see our line card has expanded significantly there, as well as infrastructure. And I'll talk a little bit more about infrastructure later. And then we rounded it out with our services offering. I think, anybody who's not in the services game right now probably is too far behind to catch up. So we were definitely already in the services side, but we've really looked at our services and solution and how we can go to market. So with that, many of you know Jason Bystrack. He leads our cloud and services division. He has just launched, and his team has launched our new XaaS a service configuration tool. And that's pretty exciting. So it's the ability for our partners to not just quote, but transact via their cloud marketplace, and wrap all the services and solutions around, whether it be their XaaS a service model, their hardware model, and cloud. So for us, that's really been just allowing the partners to really move forward through the exciting opportunities that we see ahead. And then I'd say lastly would be our credit. Credit, it seems like such a simple thing, but it's so critical right now in the channel. So we have proactively increased our credit offerings, our downstream credit to our partners. And if you look just at where we're at year to date, we anticipate by the end of the calendar year, we'll have extended 375 million of credit to our partners. So it's massive, right? And when you talk to Dan and Michael Schwab, our co-presidents, their expectation is that's only going to continue to grow in 2022.
Yeah, no, that's a big number even in Texas. Hey, moving on. You've kicked off a new BFG initiative, which means Built for Growth, Generations and Giving. How's that put into force at D&H?
Yeah, so first of all, we've had fun with the acronym a little bit, right? And we have really good conversation around it internally and externally. And really the initiative is about, it's wrapped into everything we do at D&H. It's the strategies that we're building or the way we're executing. And inside D&H, our 2 co-presidents, Dan and Michael, have made sure that every co-owner, first and foremost, understands BFG. And not just what it means to the channel, but what it means to them and how they can feel good about being a part of it. And how it aligns to our vision and strategy. But most importantly, I'd say, is how it aligns to the culture of who we are. Because I think if you line up distributors in the channel, D&H is very unique in many regards, right? And from a co-owner perspective, I'll give you one example. I'll talk to the Built for Giving piece and how this makes us feel. So we just recently had our charitable golf tournament. We had it on September 11th on purpose because we wanted to wrap all of the funds that we earned and give those back to those that were impacted on that horrible event of 9/11. So whether it be first responders or the family and victims of 9/11. And we rallied with our co-owners and our vendor partners, and we were able to raise over $100,000. And, little things, right? Like our volunteers at the golf tournament were wearing BFG shirts, and it makes you feel really good to be tied to that. So it's very easy when you talk about BFG to start with the growth, and growth for the channel is probably the most important thing. But we have to really understand that for us internally at D&H, the co-owners, it's about giving in generations. And so, I think the generation side, it's obvious, right? D&H is an ESOP company, so we are co-owner, we are co-owners, right? And we all have a stake in the business. And so, Dan and Michael and the rest of the executive team, it's really important that they're building a sustained business, something that will last for generations. It's also important to our community because we're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, yet we're this massively large, privately owned company. So we're a big force for the employee base and for jobs in the local area and wherever we have our warehouses as well, and in Brampton, Ontario. So building for generations is a very important. But I think if you look at the foundation of it and built for growth, externally, what's happening there is we've actively communicated our built for growth plans, both to our vendors and our partners over the past few weeks. It started with Dan and Michael. Our two co-owners sent out personal letters to all of our partners and our vendors, clearly outlining what we're going to do and how we're going to accomplish building for growth, and how we're going to be committed to helping our partners build for growth as well. And I'd say that engaging with all levels within our vendors and our partners as well, and helping them understand what we can help them do. The other thing is coming up on Thursday, just lastly, is we have a vendor call. And our vendor call is, we've got 500 registered vendors that are going to be attending. And again, our leadership team is going to be talking about the specific strategies that are going to help our partners and our vendors and D&H sustain growth for many years to come.
Well, any thoughts on, I've been doing a fair amount of work and tracking in the diversity, equity, and inclusion area. Any thoughts on how D&H plays in that space?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so many ways. So internally, we've got a diversity and inclusion leader, Megan Garrett, who works in partnership with our leadership team and is sitting in our human resource department. And she leads a cross-functional group within D&H that really look at how we're going to take diversity inclusion training, but also enablement, and look at how we're measuring the success of how we're hiring, how we're developing, and how we're supporting diversity and inclusion initiatives internally, but also into the community and with our vendors and our partners. And I think that's the most important thing. I'm sure as you know, right? It's not about just saying, it's about how you're measuring it. And we have a ways to come if you look at our channel, right? So it's important for us that we're taking that leadership role. I think you see, whether it be some of the BIPOC initiatives, which is Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and we're running a lot of programs through our channel to support partners supporting businesses locally, and that's very important. A lot of our vendors, like Lenovo, has a great initiative right now called Evolve Small that supports, minority-owned businesses SME through the times right now. So I think all of that is important, right? It has to be a partnership. It's not something we can do individually. It has to be collectively in the channel.
Yep. All right, moving on. How is D&H helping its partners grow to accommodate larger projects, both in the SMB space and, breaking news, the mid-market space?
Yeah, good question. So SMB, that's where D&H has played very well. We're very strong in that space, right?
Of course.
And we're going to continue
that.
Yeah, you got that. And I think what's really important for us to say to our SMB partners, because right now with channel consolidation, especially in the distribution space, I think a lot of the partners are a little shook and they're worried, especially if they're the smaller partners. They're wondering, are we going to be supported as we have less distributors, or are they going to be all moving up into the mid-market? And, you've got the ones that are focused on the large enterprise. And what we have clearly stated in the fact that we've added so much more in terms of co-owner and human capital, we're doing that so we don't lose focus on the SMB partners. So that's going to be sustained and only improved. Mid-market expansion, we're absolutely adding resources there. We've added 20 individuals across mid-market and our national solution provider business and leadership. So that's important. But I think it's really about specifically like what can we do to help the SMB and mid-market, right? So for us, I would say number one, we're going to be launching a new community. That's really exciting. That's going to be January 1st. And the community is going to be different than any other community in the channel. It's going to be really focused on partner practice building. We have a Success Path to Cloud program that most people are very well aware of that helps partners, regardless of where they're at in their maturity model, to develop that practice. We're going to be building those out for infrastructure, security, collaboration, Pro AV, gaming, components, esports, you name it. So the community is going to be about networking, about learning and engagement, but really about helping our partners be enabled in their practice and then giving them the tools to go and grow that business. So that's
all
really
right. Well, finally, what are the hottest areas that you're seeing these opportunities moving forward, Q4 and beyond?
Yeah, and I think they're really simple, right? Just with the market as it is and the world the way it is right now, it's security. It's going back to the basics of advanced technology, connectivity, right? But integrated with cloud and pro services. And you'll see that we're coming out with a new solution approach for advanced technology group under Jason Bai's track as well. And we really see that there's about a $1.6 billion annual business for D&H in that space and our partners. So we're really excited about that. And then collaboration and Pro AV, just making sure that people can stay connected. So all of us have a role to play in making sure we have the solutions. And as I mentioned, I'd say components, PC gaming, esport, and believe it or not, the creator space. That is something that everybody's talking about, right? So, I mean, it's kind of a mix, right? It's like the baseline, like stay connected, stay engaged. And then it's a lot of the creativity solutions that people have turned to since COVID hit and we all went internally into this hybrid world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to talk to you. Well, we're going to talk to you after the first of the year in Q1. And then I'm going to frame that up. May I be the first to wish you happy holidays in a year that was like none other and really, really going fast. Can't believe it. Can't believe we're already into Q4 and that's a couple weeks in. So look forward to hearing where you're going in 2022. Thank you for your time, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me and have a great day.
All righty.